You know, interestingly, after we came back from the international break some months ago or some few weeks ago, this is the first time United has won a Premier League game. We came back, we drew against Brentford, we drew against Liverpool, we lost against Chelsea, and we drew against Bournemouth in our last Premier League game. But this time around, after going down by a goal, coming back, going down again and then coming back, we finally got our win, and Rasmus Højlund also ended a six-game goal drought. Finally, I'm joined today by my brother Daniel Cranton. As always, today Kwame Nchukwueze is also not available. Last week, the thing that happened to him, it has happened again. The guy has a very huge goal somewhere around this. Danny, how have you been? It's been a while.
I'm good. Quick disclaimer: I'm not wearing Chelsea jersey. It's a Leicester City jersey. It's a tribute to Fatai Isahaku, so it's not a Chelsea jersey. I beg you.
The guy is on form. He's really on form. He is spotted.
I'm so happy with the young man.
Yes. Charlie, so we'll talk about the game briefly, and then we'll look at Jason Wilcox coming in. He started work on Monday. He's been asked to audit Ten Hag. It looks as if he's going to have a bigger voice on what happens to Ten Hag. We'll talk about that, and then also look at the rest of the season. We'll chip in a bit of the Premier League title race as well. We'll look at it here on United and Everything Football Podcast. Let's go for a quick turnaround. When we come back, we'll delve straight into the issues. I'll get on with Danny, and then we'll bring you everything here on United and Everything Football. All right, thank you very much, and welcome back to United and Everything Football Podcast. If this is your first time, and if you've been watching us and also you've not subscribed, you've not hit the notification bell, please try and do so for us. So remember to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment for us, like, share with your friends. It's very, very important to us here on this podcast. Danny, let's get straight to the game. A very interesting one. I saw, before the game, I read a series of tweets where they were talking about Jason Wilcox. We'll get to the Jason Wilcox bit, where he's been given the mandate to inform on the style of play that United would want to play going forward. And some people are suggesting, or some news tabloids were suggesting, that United were going to play possessive football. And if you watch the first half, we had about 80% of the ball. I mean, passing the ball around, and because we had the likes of Eriksen in there too, the players who had the ability to hold on to the ball and all of that. But somehow we found our way down, and then we had to come back, and then finally we won the game. But what was your general impression of the game against Sheffield United?
And obviously, when you win a game, there's a certain level of happiness. Yeah. But overall, I'm still not happy, because I think I'm seeing the same old issues. Yeah. And I'm somebody, I'm a realist. I don't like to paper over cracks. I like to look at the thing clear and straightforward.
Yeah.
And look, they are United. I said at the start of the season, most people thought I was being silly, but I think the numbers have shown that I was right. United is literally one of the easiest teams to play against when it comes to penetrating their back.
That's
line.
correct.
It's too easy.
Correct.
You look at a team like Sheffield United, who have struggled so far this season. Sheffield can't get anything right. Yet, anytime they decided to come forward against Man U, it was a very good opportunity for them. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. You talk about United having possession of the ball. And Sheffield, almost every team dominates the ball against Sheffield United. So I'm not reading too much into it. For me, when you dominate the ball, you should have a certain level of control. And that means that even when you lose the ball, your best defense, everything is in check. And a team like Sheffield should not be able to penetrate you and cause you harm on transition. But when you go back to the game against Coventry, a championship team who in transition were looked like a prime Real Madrid team against Man U, then it shows you that it's not like those teams are good. It just shows you how poor Man United are when it comes to their defensive structure. And when I say defensive structure, I remember I said it again at the start of the season. I'm not talking about the back four. I remember I said that United defensive problems had nothing to do with the goalkeeper. It had nothing to do with the individual personnel in the back four. The entire team, the structure defensive is just off. And that's something the manager needs to fix ASAP. Will he get a chance to really sack that one? I don't know. But as it stands, it's a serious problem. Like, Man United has a relegation level defensive structure. Like, that's what it is. The way they are so easy to penetrate. And again, I think Ten Hag and Man United fans need to be grateful to some of the attacking players this season. Because trust me, when you look at Bruno Fernandes's numbers, he's very frustrating to watch. But I think he's one of the reasons United are games. One of the reasons why United are not even further down in the league table. And to be grateful.
Well, that's interesting. You mentioned Bruno Fernandes's numbers, and I was just looking at it. He's had 26 in all competitions, 26 goals and assists so far, and that's been amazing. And the next player that comes next is, I mean, for the midfielders of his category, is Martin Odegaard on 20. That's goals and assists, and it tells you the caliber, the quality of player that Bruno Fernandes has been. I mean, in the last couple of games, the last 7 games or so, he's recorded a number of goals and assists. He scored twice against Bournemouth. He scored against Liverpool. He scored twice today. I mean, in the game against Coventry too, he was on the score sheet. Today, he even provided an assist for Rasmus Højlund and all of that. But it's been amazing. But we've talked about this structure issue for a very long time. And how are we so poor with our rest defense? I see our counter press is poor. Our general press is poor. Our rest defense is one of the weakest I've ever seen from a top flight football team. I don't know why are we so poor at that level, Danny?
No, Kwame is coaching. There are some certain principles in football that go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Okay, usually when you have teams that possess the ball a lot, you generally have them being very good pressers of the ball, because when you possess the ball and you are moving it from side to side, you are moving it around, your defensive structure will become out of order. It's very normal, especially when there's a lot of fluidity.
Yeah.
So you need to be able, pressing is the first key when it comes to your defensive structure. You need to be able to have a very intentional press to win the ball back before teams can penetrate. That's why Man City are so good. That's why Arsenal are so good. That's why Liverpool are so good.
Yeah.
That's why Barcelona, the teams that are heavy on possession football.
Yeah.
Now, again, even if you want to be a team that thrives on transition, as Ten Hag told us, Man United is a team who by all means have a higher average possession, because we are a top team. We don't expect teams in the bottom half to be controlling the ball against United. So what it means is that by all means, whether you like it or not, you have much more of the ball. Now, when you look at United's structure and the way we build up, it was something that was very evident during Ten Hag's time at Ajax.
Yeah.
Now, this is one main thing I was hoping he would change or try and fine-tune and fix before he came to the Premier League. It was nice at Ajax because it was very expansive, very attacking. But Ajax were very, 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 what's the word? Almost always in danger of a counter-attack. And it was so easy to penetrate them when they picked up the ball in transition. And we saw it against the top teams in Europe. We saw how they collapsed in the Champions League second half against Tottenham Hotspur. It was literally transition moments that got them. And that was a signature pattern of Ajax's football. So that was one part that I thought that when he came to the Premier League, look, Premier League managers they are smart. The Premier League players are much more of a much better quality than the ones in Eredivisie. So they will counter. So it means you need to fix it. But I've not seen too much of it. The way United builds up from the back, they commit too many bodies forward. The midfield is almost non-existent. And then when they lose the ball, we don't see that press, because that press must happen. You don't see players like Rat, who's 26 pressing, they are walking. And another problem is, it's not even another. It is basically in line with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are certain individuals who do the pressing in Man U. So look at the pressing of Bruno. Look at Mason Mount when he plays. Look at Garnacho. There are certain individuals who decide to press. The rest don't.
Yeah.
And again, you see it like that. It is not instruction. It is an individual taking responsibility. So I don't think that when you see it like that, you can't say maybe the coach has told them to press, and because majority of the team don't press. It's just a few individuals who do it when it is in their zone. After that, they leave it to nobody. Everything else that happens is reactionary. And for me, Charlie, the coaching has been poor. The coaching has.
What do you think is the guy's problem? I seem not to wrap my head around it. Yes, the injury issues are there, but what is the guy's problem? Is it that he's underrated the league, or is it that a lot of people have also talked about personnel and the fact that he's lacking certain players and all of that?
The reason why I don't necessarily buy the excuse of personnel and injuries, and I'm one person, if you know me, I always say, you're not the only team that has injuries. Structure is defined. Okay, Liverpool, when they had their injuries, were still playing the same way. They still had the same problems. Trent Dems have come back. They are still playing the same way. The problems are the same. That is coaching. It's clear cut. That's the structure. The structure doesn't necessarily have to depend on personnel. And again, if Ten Hag's issues are, if like you are using the excuse of personnel, the likes of Casemiro and Co were out for a long time this season. United fans were praying for them to come back.
Yeah.
When they came back, and I'm not talking about this month, I'm talking about somewhere last month when Casemiro came back and was playing in.
I mean, he had a long layoff and all of that.
Yeah, he came back. He was a midfield option. There was Menu, there was Marto, but still we're seeing the same problems.
Yes.
Still we're seeing the same. That is not up to personnel. When Shaw plays, when Lisandro Martinez plays, when those guys play, you might say, okay, fine. In certain decisions, this player would have made a much better decision. But when you look at the whole structure, the fact that United are left so exposed on a counter-attack, that is not as a result of Shaw being missing or Martinez being missing. Because Shaw and Martinez would only have closed up that space. That's how it was. They may have dealt with that defensive situation better, but they would not have avoided it altogether. I hope you get my point.
I get it.
It will still be there. Yeah. But maybe the striker or the opposition striker may not be able to get past Shaw or Martinez. But it doesn't mean it's not a problem. It is still a problem.
Okay.
So, look, I can't really find the reason why it's become so poor. But Ten Hag needs responsibility because last season wasn't this bad.
Yes.
It wasn't this bad. And we gave him a for it. So if it goes this bad, he must take responsibility.
Anyway, all right. Let's dovetail into this Jason Wilcox coming in. Now, if you've not watched, you can go and check our previous episode on United Today, where I broke down exactly what Jason Wilcox is coming to do. But this time around, we are giving a bit of analysis to it. So he's going to audit Erik Ten Hag's work. I mean, in the next couple of weeks, the report is that the groundworks have already been done. But now he's a technical man. He's coming in. Sir Jim Ratcliffe talked about the fact that they are going to define a clear style of play for the team, and the coach is going to be told exactly what to do. Erik Ten Hag, when he came in, said that he was asked to play the football that he's playing. I mean, the transition football, because at United, he says he looks at his philosophy, he looks at the players he have, and he looks at the club's philosophy, which is quick attacking football. How do you call it? Transition football and all of that. Now, Danny, what influence do you think Jason Wilcox is going to bring? I don't know. I'm sure you've read about him. You know a bit of work that he's done at Man City's academy, going to Southampton briefly. It wasn't long before United went to poach him. What difference do you think his presence is going to add to the team? And he's the man virtually going to make a decision or advise the owners on the decision made on Erik Ten Hag.
Look, I think it's a huge step. I think it's a huge step that has subliminals under it. Okay. This is how I see the new CEO who is coming from Manchester City.
Yeah.
Okay. He's worked with Wilcox in the past.
Yeah.
Now, he's the one basically who has vetoed this move, bringing him in. Yeah. And he's basically like a technical director for a period. Yeah. So he's going to oversee everything that Ten Hag is doing.
Yeah.
My point is, if they were truly happy with the work that Ten Hag was doing, I don't think they would have worded his job description that way. If you read around it, there's just something off. he's almost like a headmaster. It's almost like the guy's not. We don't. He's doing a good job, and we are bringing somebody to come and oversee. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, why are you coming to audit a manager for a period around this stage of the season? If you're not planning to make a major decision.
Yeah.
Again, why is Wilcox coming at this point in the season and now coming to define a style for Manchester United? The second question just shows how completely flawed the entire structure is. The fact that it is now that you are bringing somebody come and define a style of play for a manager who already comes in with his own philosophy. So how I see it is Wilcox has come in with a plan of how the Ineos wants Man United to play.
Okay.
They are coming to find a reason why Ten Hag is not the man. That's how I see it. They are just basically coming to find a reason why Ten Hag is not the man. And then they bring their own person. Because it really doesn't make sense. Like, imagine Man City bringing in somebody who is coming to tell Pep how to play football.
Yeah.
There's something off about it. So for me, I just see it as like an overseer. He's like a headmaster, an eye in the dressing room, an eye in the training ground. Yes, and I like the way you use audit. He's come to look and pick apart the part and go and took to the bosses. That's me. I see it. And then for all we know, Ten Hag might leave, but it's a very dangerous time.
Yeah.
I want them to sack him up, and I want them to sack him because I don't think he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
But when you look at who is available, that's
the major question.
That's the major question. And for me, maybe just settle the structure for him and give him like next 2 or 3 months into next season and let's see. Yeah. But again, the way things are so bad this season, I don't think any technical person who is overseeing him will give him that much time.
That's very interesting because just to throw a bit more light on what he's been asked to do, he's supposed to check the relations between himself and the players in the dressing room, also look at the training methods, why are there so many injuries, and all of that. I mean, there isn't much time, but I'm sure there's information for Wilcox to rely on. Some work has been done. I was listening to the Muppeteers. He gives a bit more in-depth issues. Yeah. I mean, information on the issues around the club, and he said that some work has been done so far. Wilcox is just going to be a technical eye to just look at things that Ten Hag has been doing over the time to see if indeed he's going to, he merits the opportunity to stay or for them to move him on to bring in a new coach to come and do the work. But you raise a very important question about the coaches that are available. All the teams that were in for coaches are sort of resolving their issues. Bayern are going in for Ralf Rangnick. Liverpool are going in for Arne Slot. Just this evening before we recorded, Barcelona have decided to stick with Xavi. I mean, so the only coaches that you have left are a bit of Amorim and then De Zerbi, Thomas Tuchel, who I think is a better coach than Ten Hag. I mean, the body of work sees it. Yeah, it's there. It's clear for everyone to see. These are the coaches that are available, and as to whether these coaches can work within the structure, because now with the Ineos structure, they are saying that they want a coach, they don't want a manager. Everything will be set for you. Just go in there and go and coach and go and play according to the way we want you to play. We feel that you fit what we want to play and all of that, so go and play in that way. So basically it's quite interesting. I don't know how things will pan out, but you have stated that you want Eric Ten Hag to go.
I want to go.
The guy should leave.
I don't get some, like, I don't understand some fans. Let me just use this platform to say, you see, we all love the club, okay?
Yes.
But there's nothing wrong with admitting that things are not going well. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't make you a bad fan if you see the thing, like the thing. It doesn't make you a bad fan if you say it's not good.
Yeah.
When you continue to stick it and lie to yourself that is not good, that's when the pain and the hurt is even more. Like, to be honest, if you lie to, like, I remember at the start of the season when I put out my prediction, I even put money, I think, in third. And there were fans who were coming. I'm a Man U fan, but third safe, I was saying, okay, from what we had seen last season, that's why I was putting that prepared. But if you remember, we had a space at the start of the season where I said our transfer activity had just put me off. Like I really didn't have hope for that transfer activity.
Yes.
And who's right?
Yeah.
Am I not right?
Yes.
Being the striker we thought he'd be.
Yeah.
Mason Mount has been a complete, like nothing has, it hasn't come together. There's been no continuity from last season. And it's our own fault.
It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Very, very, very unfortunate that we find ourselves here. Now, where do you think the season will be ending for us? We have just a couple of games to go, about 4 games to end the season. The FA Cup, which we'll preview when the FA Cup, we have a very huge round table that we are going to do with the boys. All the boys will be on. We'll bring all the boys on, the correct one. Let's not get into the FA Cup. But where do you think the season ends for us? We have Burnley, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Arsenal, and then Brighton to end the season. That's about 5 games to go.
Unfortunately, things are not in our hands. That's where you don't want to be at this stage in the season. Yeah. And the sad thing is, it looks like the teams around us are slowly beginning to pick up form. When I say pick up form, I don't mean they are winning consistently. Yeah. But when you look at the form of just above mid or top half teams,
they are creeping in on us.
Now, if Chelsea wins their game in hand, they are back 3 points behind us. Like anything can happen.
Yeah.
And I say, in fact, let me just make it quick clarity.
Yeah.
It is not in our hands, meaning that whatever we do, we are not going to decide whether or not we'll finish in that position or not. Yeah. Number 2, can you trust that we'll win the rest of our 4 games?
That's a major question.
that's a major one. For me, I'll be happy if we don't finish in Europe.
Me too.
Honestly.
Me too.
I would if we don't. If I was United, I would self-destruct now. Don't because look at what the Europa League did to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like you will not understand it, but
it distorts your season.
And see, the annoying thing about that competition in the Conference League is you might take it easy in the group stages.
Yeah.
But in the second half of the season, when your sole focus is supposed to be on the league and trying to hit there's also that thing sort of tempting you. Is it important? Is it not important? Champions League, you know you are going all out. So that one you play with your heart. But this Europa and it's a unneeded, very unwanted distraction. So I'll be happy if United don't finish in Europe at all. The next season we come and we are focusing on the league and but the FA Cup, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about this later. We'll talk about that later. But let's look at the title race. Liverpool just lost to Everton. You have been very, very strong on Arsenal winning the league. You've not hidden that. I mean, everybody who follows Danike knows that he's very big on Arsenal winning the league. I still think City would win it. They have what it takes. I mean, to finish strongly. But Arsenal put out a statement when they beat Chelsea by 5-0. Looking at the games that they have left, they have United to play. They have Tottenham Hotspur to play. These are the 2 major games. City will be playing Brighton and Spurs. I mean, these are also the major games that I think City will be playing. Danny, do you still think... I think Liverpool are virtually out. Do you agree? Or do you still think that some bit of hope for Liverpool?
Liverpool are... We'll go and drop points again at Villa Park. I said we'll drop points. We'll go to Villa Park and drop points again.
But how do you see it? How do you see it playing out?
Look, I still think Arsenal will win. And we did a running on a couple of our shows. And I said that, for me, I feel it's easier for the team that has the most difficult fixtures at this point because it's easier for you to raise your game and embrace the opposition. If you are facing easy opposition, look at Arsenal's run into the end of last season. Their fans were jubilating. They thought they had won. But it's those easy games on paper that are very difficult at this point in the season.
True.
And that's what I was warning Liverpool fans against. The games that you think you always win are the ones that can come back and bite
that's
you.
True.
Crystal Palace Everton have beaten them. Now, Arsenal against Spurs is a very difficult game. I'm not going to lie. I still have an asterisk to it. But for me, it's Manchester City. I don't think Man City are that same team from last. Like, there's just something off about them. For them to be here at this point in the season, I'll salute them for that. And I understand everybody that says Man City will win. Look, they've won 5 out of the last 6. You'd be an idiot to bet against them. But me, I like to embrace the flag. I don't go with the normal. When I calculate my pain, I'm very convinced in my in my conviction. So
That's it. Yeah.
Arsenal will win.
Where do you think City will drop points? They have Brighton, they have Spurs. They broke a certain hoodoo on them at the Spurs Stadium when they beat them in the FA Cup. By the league, they've still not scored a goal there. They find it very difficult beating them there.
That City don't need to lose. They just need to drop points. Yeah. That's it. They just need to drop points for the advantage to be handed to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at two games. I'm looking at Brighton and I'm looking at Spurs. As for the rest, City will wipe them clean. But I'm looking at Brighton and I'm looking at Spurs. And I genuinely feel like before the last game of the season, when Arsenal is facing Everton, that will be the game where Arsenal would already have won the league by then. I think it will be decided the game before. So
that's the game against United.
Yes. So City will face Tottenham 3 days after Arsenal face United. Yeah. So that's City's last battle. So the penultimate weekend of the season, Man City will now be playing their last battle too.
Yeah.
So they'll play, and then they'll play on a midweek again against Spurs.
Yes.
And that's where the league will be decided. So before that game at Emirates between Arsenal and Everton, Arsenal already have won the league. Yeah, I'm telling you.
The prophet has spoken.
I told you.
Charlie, it's been great having you on the podcast. Great having you every single time, bro. It's good. It's good. So thank you very much, Danny. So we hope you've enjoyed yourself. We've done justice to a bit of the issues surrounding Manchester United. Newcastle are proving stubborn. They said Dan Ashworth, they want 12. They moved from 20 million to 15. Guess how much United proposed? 2 million. I'm not ready to have the man. Newcastle said no way. Charlie, thanks for joining us, Danny. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing, and thanks for liking your comments. We see your comments, we see your likes. We want more of it, and your subscription. If you've not subscribed, please do well to help us with subscribing to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow with United Today. We hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks very much once again, Danny. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.